How did a man who once collected soda cans for a living go on to become a billionaire with mansions, billion-dollar businesses, and a fleet of rare supercars? The extraordinary journey of John Paul DeJoria from a tough upbringing in East LA to the pinnacle of success is a testament to resilience, determination, and a relentless pursuit of his dreams. So how did a homeless man defy the odds and carve out a path to unimaginable prosperity? His journey kicked off with making flower boxes at a local wood shop to chip in for his mom's struggle. He'd snag them for 25 cents each and sell them to diner waitresses for 50 cents. It was a proud moment for his mom that he was pulling his weight, but she knew it still wasn't cutting it. She couldn't even afford to keep him fed. And that's just the beginning of John Paul's wild ride from rags to riches. When John was only 7, his mom had to send him to foster care. But after missing home like crazy, he decided to take matters into his own hands and got a job. Waking up at 3 a.m. became a routine for him, selling newspapers and Christmas cards in the neighborhood. Even with all that effort, they were still struggling mighty. His mom, though, was a real trooper, making sure they helped others in need. There was this Christmas when she told John and his brother to split a dime and drop it in the Salvation Army bucket. No matter how little you have, someone always has less, she would say. But being a poor kid in L.A. meant John had to do more than just sell newspapers and flower boxes. He felt his only option was to join a street gang. And yeah, their name, the Pink Rats, probably sounds weird, but they were no joke. Knives, beatings, and all. John insists they never stabbed anyone. They just used the knives to snatch people's money. Well, of course he'd say that now, right? Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. The gang life didn't do him any favors, though. One wrong move and he'd be out of school or worse, in prison. Then a teacher dropped a truth bomb during a math class. "You'll never succeed at anything in life," he said. That hit John hard, and he made it his mission to prove the teacher wrong. School wasn't his thing, so when a Navy recruiter swung by his high school, he saw it as his ticket out. The camaraderie he found in the Navy was like what he had in the gang, but legal, and more importantly, he'd be making a stable income. After 2 years in the Navy, he left with honor, ready to pursue his passion. Sales was where he excelled, but just as he was finding his groove, life threw a curveball. Married at 19, a tiny living space, and things weren't going well. One day, after work, his wife dropped the bomb. She needed his car keys. So here's the deal. John's wife said she was heading to the store, but reality hit hard. She was leaving him for good. She left a note saying she couldn't handle it anymore, and their son was just left sitting next to a pile of clothes. And guess what? This wasn't a spontaneous thing. It was all planned. For the past 3 months, his wife had been secretly stashing away rent and utilities money, and they were on the brink of eviction. As if that wasn't bad enough, his boss called him up and dropped the bomb. He was fired. So there he was, sitting on the floor, lost his job, his home, his wife, and had no clue what to do next. But this guy had some serious discipline and told himself he had to make it through this mess. Thankfully, his neighbor overheard the chaos and offered John his Cadillac to crash in. But let's be real, even with the car, he was still essentially homeless with a kid in tow. To scrape by, he started collecting soda cans and selling them for a measly 2 cents each. After 2 weeks of this hustle, a friend cut him some slack and offered him a spare room. John did everything he could to make ends meet. Janitor, gas station attendant, bicycle repairman. And here's the kicker. He jumped into the sales game by peddling encyclopedias. Knocking on doors and hustling hard, he only got his first sale after hitting up over 100 houses. Most salespeople lasted 3 days with those books, but not John Paul. He powered through the rejections for 3.5 years, going from books to copy machines, insurance, and dictating equipment. This guy was on a mission to be a top-tier salesman, and he was willing to grind through anything. Fast forward a bit, and he snagged a gig at Time magazine, pushing subscriptions for Sports Illustrated, Fortune, and Life magazine. But he was hungry for more, aiming for a top executive spot. So he walked up to his boss one day, asking how he could become vice president of the company. His boss just laughed in his face, offering him maybe in 9 years. But John Paul wasn't having it. He told everyone about his goal, and a friend pointed him toward a better opportunity, a salesman job at a company called Redken, known for their beauty products. John Paul soared up the corporate ladder at Redken, reaching the position of national manager. However, when he discovered the unethical animal testing practices, he couldn't just turn a blind eye. Voicing his concerns and complaints to the higher-ups didn't go as planned, and they showed him the door. Fortunately, he quickly rebounded, landing a new management gig with Fattle, where he boosted profits by a whopping 50%. But once again, he found himself on the unemployment line because he didn't quite fit the mold. Undeterred, he found success with other companies, honing his business and marketing skills. Despite the job hopping, things were looking up for John. However, the tide turned again. At a hairdressing convention, he crossed paths with Paul Mitchell. Recognizing each other's strengths, John Paul's business and marketing acumen and Paul Mitchell's hairdressing and formulation expertise, they decided to team up. The goal, to create the ultimate hair company, John Paul Mitchell Systems. Burning the midnight oil, they pitched their idea to a European investor and scored a $500,000 loan. John Paul, fueled by the prospect of success, gave his house and remaining savings to his soon-to-be ex-wife. But this move turned out to be a colossal mistake. When it was time to collect the loan from the bank, it had vanished into thin air. So John Paul found himself with no money, no home to return to, and only his car to his name. Refusing to give up, John Paul faced adversity with a strategic plan. Despite financial challenges, he leveraged manufacturers' free samples to secure essential products. With $700, borrowed and matched by Paul Mitchell, they launched their dream company, starting a journey toward becoming a premier hair care brand. After successfully acquiring product samples, they tackled branding with their $700 budget. Unable to afford advertising, they distributed free samples to salons, relying on hairdresser endorsements and offering commissions. This groundbreaking approach paved the way for success in the 1980s. Embracing innovative practices, they avoided animal testing, prioritized green energy, and discovered beneficial plants. By 1985, the company had achieved over $100 million in sales. Despite Paul Mitchell's passing in 1989, John Paul DeHoria continued the venture, introducing philanthropic initiatives like Paul Mitchell Schools and contributing to combating homelessness. Well, that's it. For now, make sure that you like our video. Please share your views in the comments section with us, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to get updated. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss another update.